Good morning. Once again, we are here to discuss about the 8th B paper of MSc final year physics, which basically includes two streams, the one related to laser, science and technology, other related to the solar power and hydrogen fuel cell. As you all know, and as I discussed in my previous lectures, laser is a specific light, coherent light you can see. The full form is light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. The production of laser light is by stimulated emission. We have gone through the process of spontaneous and stimulated emission in detail. The concern unit, that is the second half of this paper, relates to the solar power and hydrogen fuel cell. So far we are concerned about the development of electric power by using the thermal methods, either by burning coal, gas, nuclear power plants, hydroelectric power plants. All these plants have their own limitations. These all plants work on the naturally available resources like the water in the dam, the height of the dam, the coal reserves, the nuclear fuel reserves, the oil reserves, and so on. All these natural reserves have their own limitations, and because of the development of electrical and electronic instrument in the late 20th century and the early 21st century, has increased the global demand of electric power manifold. So the conventional method appears to fail at one stage or other. So we have to think over the development of new power projects, new methodologies by which we can develop the green power for the mankind. And one of the main process of that is the use of the sun rays which are coming from sun to earth, and that contains the large amount of the power which we people are using. As you all know, the solar technology is not new. Of course, its proper use has developed, or you can say the scientific use have developed in the current century. If you go to the history of solar energy, in ancient civilizations we have evidences where people have used solar technology for their development. Uh, this is the historical chart which shows how the mankind or civilizations have make use of the solar power. As I told in my previous lectures too, that the average solar power which is reaching earth from sun is almost all 6,000 times more than our global demand. So we have a very huge reservoir available as a solar system. Now the basic principle which we use to develop the solar power is by solar cell. Solar cell, as I mentioned earlier too, is basically a PN junction diode with different type of concentration, you can say. Individual solar cell can be combined to form modules commonly known as solar panels. The common single junction solar cell can produce a very little amount of voltage, and as such it is not used for generation of large power. So for that we rely upon the solar panels. The major solar power plants nowadays are able to produce solar power, electric power in the range of megawatts. So that's a good sign for the new generation. Solar cell basically consists of a p-type or n-type semiconductor, as we discussed in our earlier lectures too. The basic design is something like this. We have the depletion zone electron hole creation region, front electrical contact. These are the depletion zone, p-type material, n-type material, electron hole recombination. With the help of this diagram we show how the power is generated in a solar cell. This is the basic construction of a solar cell using a simple PN junction. Nowadays commercially many methods are available for development of the solar power. A working principle of a solar cell is when light reaches the PN junction, photons can easily enter into the junction through a very thin p-type layer. The light energy in the form of photons supplies sufficient energy to the junction to create a number of electron hole pairs. The incident light breaks the thermal equilibrium condition of the junction. The free electrons in the depletion region can quickly come to the n-type side of the junction, and similarly the holes in the depletion can quickly come to the p side of the junction, and once the newly created free electrons come to the n side, cannot further cross the junction because of the barrier potential. This is how we explain the working of a solar cell in a PN junction. As I told you earlier also, that same PN junction works like a PN diode, normal PN diode, works like a solar cell, works like any other device, and that is decided by the impurity concentration, or what we say is the barrier width. And barrier width again is decided by the impurity concentration which we inject into the pure silicon or germanium rod, or you can say material. The method of injection of the impurities, whether the impurities belongs to third group or fifth group, are manifold. That's a different story. That itself is a very big branch of engineering. But what we need to understand is we can inject a, a specific number of electrons or holes into the by adding the impurities into the pure silicon or germanium, and accordingly the characteristics of the junction changes. And by changing the characteristics, by understanding the characteristics, or by the study of the characteristics of that, we make use of that particular for framing or for construction of electronic devices. This is how the mathematical equation which governs the IV characteristics of a solar cell. This is the equivalent circuit, open circuit, symbols, short circuit symbols. This is the equation according to which the current flows. Here, as you know, the voltage, the saturation values, the current which is flowing through the circuit is denoted. The RSH is the shunt resistance, this is the series resistance, which is denoted in this diagram. This is the plot of current versus voltage. On one side we have current and on other side we have voltage, and this is how the graph looks like. This is another study. If you vary the intensity, current density, that is milliampere per centimeter, so how the plot will look like, and it is compared with the ideal solar cell. This is the blue line source for ideal solar cell, and cell with series and shunt resistance is the red line source for that. So the two graphs shows the comparative study, and of course this equation basically shows that how the two varies in that particular case. So another important point is the fill factor. As you all know, if we decrease the RSH and if we increase the RSH resistance, how the value of fill factor will vary or will affect the current density. That is the factor which we define. Increase in series resistance, decrease in shunt resistance effect is shown in these graphs, and this is the equation which governs the variation of the current, which is shown plotted on these curves. It is found that the current which is flowing in a solar cell depends on the temperature too, because band gap, by increasing the temperature, as we all know, the band gap decreases. The flow of electrons or holes from one region to other becomes easier, and accordingly the value of current changes or are affected. So the effect of temperature, here K is the usual Boltzmann constant, T is the temperature, Q is the charge, these are the currents and voltage. So at high temperature the graph will look like this. The two color line are shown to show the effect of temperature on the solar cell. So during the hot environment, the value of current will differ against the cold environment as shown in the diagram. As I told you, we were talking about the fill factor. Fill factor is defined as the ratio of the maximum power from the solar cell to the product of the VOC and ISC. Uh, it can also be interpreted graphically as the ratio of rectangular areas shown in the figure. So from this also we can explain it, and this is the mathematical formula with the help of which you can calculate the fill factor. So these are the you can say modes, the parameters by which we analyze the working of a solar cell, and various parameters against which the efficiency of a solar cell is calculated, or rather in simple words you can say the usefulness of a solar cell is calculated. So in the next lecture we will continue with the same. So as far as our syllabus is concerned, so one of the unit is related to the construction, basic construction of solar cell and solar power, the importance of solar power, so that the student of MSc final year physics must understand why solar power is more important nowadays. Thank you.